Okay, fingers are getting a bit numb. Even though you can't see some of the questions that are coming on the screen, we have a second machine here that's showing some of the incoming questions. Unfortunately, it's not able to display them all. But there are a few, while that was playing, a few people were asking about the artwork and also about sort of Joe's guitar playing and the Texas sessions again. So to deal with the Texas thing first, one of the nice things for me was to record in a different way, a way that I remember when I first started out, working in studios. The first thing I did when I left school was work in a studio as a tape op, which is an assistant. And in those days, of course, everything was multi-track tape, and this is exactly what we did in Texas. We recorded the whole of Joe's band very much old school, so we used multi-track tape, run at low speed with no Dolby, and we used only vintage equipment. We were lucky that the studio we were in had massive, wonderful vintage equipment, so lovely old valve mics, and Joe's got this huge collection of guitars, beautiful amps, and so it was a really interesting way to go about doing things, and then to only apply the modern technology right at the end of the session where we transferred it all into the computer and I took it home. The artwork thing, well, just got some vinyl here, in fact. I don't know if you can see that properly, but it's really nice, again, for me to, people of my age, we remember this sort of thing. And a lot of people still like it. That's the gatefold inner sleeve. And, the artwork looks really good on this, I think. But people denounce vinyl, but it still sounds better than anything. If you leave aside a few crackles and pops that you will inevitably get, the actual audio signal for vinyl is still very, very good. And sometimes, we miss that. So it looks really good in that format for me. As for the artwork itself, the idea of the plastic mannequins is really to represent worthless, recyclable people, which goes back to this idea of subhuman. And we gave that synopsis to Jesse Holman, who's the designer, and that's what he came up with, and I like that. It's different to what we've seen before on the last album, for example. But again, I thought that was a good thing to kind of surprise people in that respect. So these mannequins are shown in everyday situations in life, and when you see the full artwork you can sort of appreciate what's going on with that idea. So that's what that's all about. The next track is called 99 to Life. It's a true story, apparently. I only subsequently found out recently that one of Joe's friends actually got banged up in the penitentiary and with no prospect of any kind of release, and that's really what it's all about. So it's called 99 to Life. You can really hear Joe's band take off at the end of this, and again, it took a long while coming together, but I was pleased with it in the end. It's 99 to Life. Okay, welcome back. Well, we're coming towards the end. There's one more track left. It's called Backslider. This is another track similar to 5,000 Years, where Joe presented me with the song at the last minute when I was in Texas. And, he said, look, I've got this, would you be interested? And I loved it straight away. He played it through, again, just the three of them. And I took it home and started playing around with it. And really, I just wanted to make it even more sleazy. One of the interesting things we did with it when we recorded it was to vary speed the multi-track afterwards so that it became slower and more grisly, and then when I did my thing to it, I wanted to enhance that feeling, so that's when the dub sounds came and all the kind of really dirty sub-bass things. And then I added a little bit of a sample from a previous record that contained Siobhan Lynch's from Drifting. And because of the sort of subject matter, backslider being a generic term for people who fall off the wagon through some kind of addiction, I felt that Siobhan's lines about tasting the track seemed to fit perfectly with that and evoke a particular mood, so I threw her into the mix, and we ended up with this kind of sub-dub blues thing. So that's Backslider, and this is it. Oh, and before we play it, just to say that the chat thing hasn't worked perfectly. It's difficult. There's a lot of questions that have come in, and it's, you know, the system's clogged up. It's what usually happens with these things. But I think the video side of it's worked, so it's not been too bad. Sorry if you didn't get your question answered. I have been made aware of some of the other questions and been trying to answer them as fast as I can. We'll try and get a few more in now, but just to say, you know, thanks for coming along anyway and enjoying this with me. I hope you have. I'll come back and say goodbye after this track, Backslider. Well, that's it. And I hope you enjoyed it. The album's out next week, although most of you seem to have downloaded it already. Thanks a lot. This thing we've done tonight, hopefully we can rebroadcast it a couple of times. It might go up on YouTube in the next day or two. We hope to be able to do that. Once again, I can only apologise that we didn't get more questions answered, but, you know, I've been typing solidly for an hour now. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try and give you another update soon. Thanks for dropping by.